Hey, welcome everybody to Star Wars Debate Club. I am joined by your two contestants today. Get your gavels ready. It's on your left. No, just your left. On the left is Yellowjacketpym Andrew from Pym Miniatures on Etsy.
Ready to go.
He thinks he's ready to go, but little does he know that I own 40 of those that would absolutely destroy him. And on the right, in the red corner, is CesaroSummability. It's RJ.
Hey, howdy. I do not have a sound-making lightsaber, but I do have 2 copies of the original trilogy on Laserdisc. So,
heck yeah.
Nice.
Honestly, probably worth the same. This custom, the fancy lightsaber from Galaxy's Edge and those Laserdisc ones, probably worth the same amount.
Grizzly Beardman, thank you for the 2 gifted subs, especially to Procketbot. I wish there was a way you could turn that off, but alas, Twitch hasn't figured everything out yet. Who knew? So the way this is going to work is there are 9 topics we are debating tonight, all centered around Star Wars. I should probably change the title here. I've cooked up 9 of the hottest subjects in Star Wars. And our 2 contestants are gonna debate it here tonight, and we will see who comes out on top. They will get 3 minutes for their primary debate on each topic, and then 1-minute rebuttals, and then you, the audience at home or in a park, I don't know, I don't want to tell you how to watch, will get to vote to see who comes away with that point. But of course, I have the final say. It's my show. My opinions matter. So, with that being said, let's try a new thing. Andrew, you want to introduce yourself a little bit? Like to tell people about you, maybe your Etsy?
Yeah, I am Andrew L. I go by Yellowjacketpym on all of the Discords, Twitch, all that fun stuff. I run an Etsy shop called Pym Miniatures. I do custom painted, a lot of X-Wing ships mostly. Got some Legion stuff on there. I've been known to dabble in other things. If you want commissions, for all means, let me know. Exclamation point Pym in the chat. There you go, Cold Hard. Also, if you are into some fun, janky tournaments, I'm part of Team Jawa. We run some really cool tournaments. Our Discord and stuff is around. You can probably find it. We promote ourselves a lot. We've got an upcoming tournament that we should announce soon. So we got some fun stuff.
Cool. And RJ, you want to introduce a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am RJ, and I live in Southern California. I know Greg because he and my wife are friends from like elementary school. So I saw Greg was trying to get this channel off the ground, and so I'm trying to support in whatever way I can because I love Star Wars, but I don't actually play X-Wing. So I try and support in whatever other way I can. And so this debate seemed like a lot of fun. And right now, the number one goal I think Greg has for my family is for my oldest daughter to finally be old enough to film her reaction to the Darth Vader reveal in Episode 5. So looking 100%. Forward to pulling that off. And it's probably going to be in like a couple years, but it'll be a good time.
I am absolutely waiting for that video. Also, his daughter did not like me a year and a half ago, but now that she turned 3, all of a sudden, Greg's in good graces. So I'm happy about that.
Got the fine taste.
Yeah. You just gotta wait. You gotta wait.
Finally happened. All right, guys. There are many themes to Star Wars. It's been described as a hero's journey. It touches on politics. It discusses deeper issues like slavery. But what is the main lesson of Star Wars? Andrew, you have 3 minutes, and that 3 minutes starts now.
So I don't disagree with what Cold Hard saying about found family. However, 2 of the main characters of the original trilogy kind of undercut that theme a little bit. Those being, Luke and Leia. Unfortunately, found family doesn't super apply. But what I will say is the lasting theme of Star Wars: Nazis are bad. I know. Hot take. Just hear me out, chat, okay? George Lucas, I know he's a master of subtlety, but he named the main Imperial unit stormtroopers. Now, if you guys don't know, that's a reference to some Nazi special forces. I know, very subtle. The Empire also, it doesn't like people of different races and different species. They're just very human. So they don't. There's a bit of Nazism there. I'm not sure if you can see the parallels, but a little bit of it. And then we get to the First Order, which is, that's just coded neo-Nazism. These are just groups pretending to be Nazis, wanting to be Nazis, emulating their whole look, aesthetic, all that stuff. And guess what? They're still the bad guys. So, if you ignore that prequel stuff, because who cares? But everything beyond that, come on. I know it's a very subtle thing. You guys have to kind of read into it and pick up on it. But Nazis are bad. We shouldn't support them. Support your local fish people. That's the main theme. That's what I've got.
All right. Him coming in hot with Nazis are bad. What a hot take. Very debatable. RJ, I'm really looking forward to your 1 minute rebuttal to that. But until then, what's your 3 minute counter or 3 minute? What is the lesson of Star Wars?
Well, it's definitely not Nazis are good. No, I'm in support of the part where Pym says we're going to go ahead and ignore the prequels because, again, that's just sort of the rise to power of Vader and the Emperor. So for me, the takeaway is a little more pragmatic. It's essentially space super weapons are not sustainable galactic policy, right? Every time the big bads try and develop some sort of technology, right? Like in episode 4, it was the Death Star. In episode 6, it was the Death Star again. In episode 7, it was Starkiller Base. In episode 9, it was a fleet of ships, all of which were equipped with the same sort of massive Death Star laser, just condensed down because, technology progresses a bunch in the 30 40 years since the development of the Death Star. And every time they lose, right, there's too many people that are involved in the production. You can't keep track of all of them and keeping their mouths shut. There's going to be infiltration. You're never going to get the job done on time. It's going to, you may get some utility out of it, hashtag, rest in peace Alderaan, but you're just not, it's not going to be a sustainable effort. It's inevitably going to fail. You're better off with just, maybe trying to be nice and work things out. But yeah, no, super weapons have never helped anyone ever. So that to me is the main takeaway from the overarching Star Wars arc.
All right. Well, two fire takes that I'm super looking forward to the rebuttal on. But before we do that, we're going to open our poll. Who do you think won? We'll give this one 2 minutes. Get your votes in now. Pym, your rebuttal to RJ's lesson that super weapons are bad. Your time.
Neither one of us is making this easy for the other in terms of rebuttals. Take some really controversial stances, I guess. If I had to rebuke the fact that super weapons are quote unquote bad, let's just think about some economics really quick, right? How many people were employed with the construction of the Death Star? How much, an economic stimulation did you see for the whole galactic community? You had scientists working on it, engineers, you had, your unskilled laborers that may or may not have been slaves based on the Empire's whole shtick. I don't know. But all I'm saying is, even while these things aren't good policy, it's good economic policy, if not governmental policy. So, there's not a whole lot of positive benefits of a giant super laser, but one positive benefit is it does stimulate the job market. So, that's you can't argue with that.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that your counter argument against super weapons is a lot easier than RJ's counter argument against Nazis. But RJ, let's see what you got. 1 minute, and if you just want to stare at the camera for a minute, I wouldn't blame you. Your time starts now.
I'm actually going to take a different approach, which is I'm not going to actually respond to his argument. I'm going to respond to his responses to my argument.
Classic.
which is that if we argue that there's economic stimulation, I would be willing to bet that the amount of economic stimulation you would get from Alderaan, where people would be, I don't know, alive and, you know, producing things for the the galactic economy, and all the other planets that were destroyed by Starkiller Base and all that stuff, they would have just as many jobs, if not more, than the ones that you're taking away by blowing up the planets. So it's actually a net decrease in economic productivity.
All right. Well, listen, RJ, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Valiant effort. Valiant. Like, really, like, that was a very good argument. But I feel like if I give the point to anything but Nazis are bad, that says something about me. So we're going to go ahead and give that one Yellow Jacket.
Sometimes you just got to come out swinging for the, you know, you get the low ball, you get the low-hanging fruit out of the way early, get that first point, you're good to go.
I've never been so happy to lose.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. When I brainstormed these questions, it was like 3 a.m. and I didn't think Nazis were going to come up.
I had nothing for this one. I was just like, you know what? I don't know, man. Stormtroopers, Nazis, that's all I got. That's the best I got here.
I mean, it's clearly the obvious parallel, but like, I just never like decide to make that connection in my head because it kind of ruins Star Wars a little bit. It's like, oh, well, I could be super into the Defender if I didn't think it was the Volkswagen of its time.
Exactly. It's like, hey, the Defender is super cool. And you know what also super cool was those V2 rockets that were definitely not missiles.
Definitely
not repurposed missiles from Nazis.
NASA definitely didn't build up their superiority based off German scientists they forgave for terrible crimes. That definitely didn't happen. No one looked that up.
Not at all. Nah.
All right, we're going to move on to our next topic. This is simple. This is a simple one. Who is the coolest character in Star Wars? Not the most powerful, not the most bad. I'm sorry, the coolest. Who is the coolest? RJ, we're going to start with you this time. Your 3 minutes. It's going to start now.
So, to me, cool means you've got swagger. You walk into a room and everybody's like, I want to be that person when I grow up. You know, they're good at what they do. They've got charisma, and to me, that is all obviously most embodied in Han Solo. Like, there's just not a cooler cat on the planet. I mean, he's running his smuggling business. He's, you know, getting in deep with Jabba the Hutt and still managing to stay on his good side. He sweet talks his way out of situations. Yes, absolutely, Zimitique. Han shot first. I have the laser discs to prove it. Yeah, Han's just a super laid-back dude. You know, he ends up coming around, ends up being a good guy. And he, you know, he's a good people person. He's got some witty repartee with the other characters. He's, you know, he's funny. He's personable. He's awesome in the field. He's a good general, right? He's a good people person. He's a kind of guy that you want to be around. No matter what you ask him to do, he's going to make whatever it is that you're doing better. And I mean, he hangs out with Lando. Even after Lando turns him in and shoves him, ends up resulting in him being shoved in carbonite for an extended period of time. They still end up being friends afterward, hanging out, you know, in Episode 6. So to me, the epitome of coolness in Star Wars is definitely Han Solo.
All right, Han Solo. I would bet money on what Yellow Jacket's going to say, but we'll leave it to him. Yellow Jacket, who is?
Oh, I want to hear. What do you think I'm going to say?
I think you're saying Lando. Who is the
coolest
character?
I'm saying Lando? I mean, Lando's one smooth talker. I definitely agree. Is my time stopped? Has my time started?
Well, let me say it. I'm trying to develop a catchphrase here. Your time starts now.
I definitely agree. Han Solo is one cool dude. But let's think about Cold Hard Facts does make a good point here too. The famed jazz musician Max Rebo of the Max Rebo Band is definitely up there in terms of cool Star Wars characters. We're actually going to get back to Max Rebo later with another one of my answers, so you stay tuned, Cold Hard. However, the one person that's cool enough to get the drop on Han Solo, cool enough to one-up him consistently, I mean, it's our space mom. It's Leia Organa, right? I mean, not only is she, she has that same witty repartee, she has the same, skilled tactical mind, but she's the person who, she brings Luke Skywalker into the fold and Obi-Wan Kenobi. She is able to keep the rebellion together through hard times. After the rebellion finishes, she goes on, she creates the resistance, she starts fighting the First Order. She helps create the government that would later be destroyed by them, which is kind of a bummer. But things happen. She did her best. I mean, how can you argue against Carrie Fisher, against Leia? The person who kills Jabba the Hutt with her own bare hands. She's just too. It's the deck stacked against you if you're going against Leia. I mean, she's the one who yells at Han to give him that blaster and blast the hole through the blast the hole into the garbage chute to get him out of that detention block. I mean, Leia's the one with the plan. She's the one moving quickly. She's like, we got to get out of here. She's the one keeping the three of them together, Luke, Leia, and Han. So, I mean, come on. It's Leia. How do you argue against that?
All right. Andrew coming out hot. Listen, I don't know if you're watching chat, but they responded to that. They enjoyed that one. I'm going to get the poll up. Poll. I hate that I have to do this each time. Hot fire there, Pym.
I mean, I will say as a response to Bahamut, I almost went Chewbacca. Chewbacca was definitely rolling my mind of like, all right, who's cool as Han? It's his buddy Chewie is in there too. But
all right, fair enough. RJ, your response to Leia being the coolest character. Your time starts now.
I agree 100% that everything you said about her being important, about her being strong, about her being sort of a catalyst to everything that's happening. But to me, that just doesn't translate as like that cool factor, that swagger that Han has, just rolling into a room, like just looking like you don't care, like everything just rolls off of your back. Like Leia, she has to be sort of hard-nosed. She does all the work. I absolutely agree. It's just the word in particular that was being used here is cool, and there's just not a cooler cat in the Star Wars universe than Han Solo.
All right. Jack makes a good point. Could have been Jack. This could have been an easy answer for Jack.
Money is all that you love, and that's what you'll receive.
All right, Andrew, your response to Han Solo being the coolest character. Your minute starts. Let me get my catchphrase.
I know. Man. I'm sorry. I'm ready to go.
Your minute starts now.
I definitely get that. Han is the cooler character. Definitely, maybe not the more important character, but definitely cooler. However, at the same time, I got to give it to Leia for being, she's able to like still retain that cool, calm sense of composure. She befriends the Ewoks. She watches their planet die, and she's still able to like, in the next few hours when she's rescued, she's the one making the plans to get off the Death Star. She's the one who even, dresses up tries to infiltrate Jabba's palace. I mean, she doesn't fear anything. Nothing's too scary for Leia Organa. She is just, she's as cool as a cucumber in these high stress situations. Nothing can get past our space mom.
All right. See what the votes are. Now, Pym, Chad agrees with you 4-2, but you know what? I'm going to say that while Leia is clearly...
It's 5-2 now, I just want to point out.
You know what? It's 6-2, and I could... 6-3. You know what? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're talking about pure cool. And I'm sorry. But if you're rolling with Leia, Leia's taking all the attention. But if Han's rolling with Leia, that's easy. You're hanging out with Han. You're playing some sabacc. You're talking about old smuggler runs.
I just want to point out, Han and Leia both show up at Cloud City on the same time, and who does Lando gravitate towards? I mean, who's cooler in that situation?
That is not what was happening there, and I think you know that. I am pretty sure that you understand what Lando was after there.
All I'm saying, man.
I'm giving this one to RJ. I don't even know what year. Plus, Han has the Millennium Falcon. Also, Leia was like 19. She hadn't had a chance to develop her cool. She wasn't even old enough to drink.
I am the people's champion. That's all that matters.
Okay, The Rock. All right, let's got a 1-to-1 game. See what our next question is. I really need a better way to do this, but I haven't thought of it yet. Yeah, so I was expecting Lando to get some play there. I thought maybe Boba Fett would get some play for being like really badass looking, like cool. But
He looks cool, but he doesn't do much. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't until the Mandalorian we really saw him do anything remarkable.
Right. Honestly, if one of the questions had been overrated characters, I might have gone Boba.
There's a take.
I think I'm right there with RJ on this one.
Great. Well, I didn't want any agreements because that's lame. All right.
Touche.
Next question. The EU was a beloved part of all of our, I'll say, lives for like growing up and whatnot. I'm old enough to have been there for the original Thrawn trilogy release. But what EU character should come back to canon? Who? Who amongst who should come back to canon? Yellowjacketpym, I believe we are starting with you this time. Your 3 minutes is gonna start now.
So this may be unfair advantage here, because this is an X-Wing channel primarily. So I'm gonna again play to the people. We got to go with my boy Tycho Selchu. He's an Alderaanian. He is a pilot. He's an ace pilot at that. In original canon, he helps lead the defenders away from the Death Star 2 while Wedge and Lando go in to take down the reactor. Now he's not really around anymore. But you better believe, if you're talking Rogue Squadron, if you're talking those classic books by Michael A. Stackpole that I'm sure we all love, or if you're talking X-Wing 1.0, if you guys were a fan of that, I mean, Tycho Selchu is all over there. He is an ace of legend. He's an ace pilot. We got to bring him back into the fold, mostly because I don't really care about the extended universe, but also because, Tycho Selchu, I mean, again, hero of his people, living beyond Alderaan and making everyone proud. That's all I got.
All right, short and sweet. 1 minute on Tycho Selchu. I did love those books. RJ, what EU character should come back? Your time starts now.
All right. When I saw this question, there was just one obvious answer that jumped out to me, and I was like, it has to be this, and it's obviously Mara Jade, right? Like I don't know how you bring back anybody else before you bring back Mara Jade. She's got an awesome story arc, right? She was the Emperor's hand. She was the first character to sort of break open the idea that the Sith really weren't all into that whole idea of the rule of two, right? That sort of set the groundwork for the stuff that happened in Clone Wars with Asajj Ventress. She was a smuggler with Talon Card after the Emperor died. She had the whole story arc about having to kill Luke Skywalker, and then ended up killing Luke Skywalker, except it was the 2U Luke Skywalker because he was a clone. Falling in love with Luke Skywalker, turning away from the dark side, becoming a Jedi. She's awesome. She's badass. She's strong. She's a great character. And no joke, I actually tried to convince my wife to name our second child Mara Jade, like first and middle name. She didn't get sold on it, but I actually tried to get our kid named Mara Jade. So I don't know how you go wrong picking anybody. I don't know how you pick anybody else but Mara.
All right. I mean, good attempt, RJ. Good attempt on the Mara. How'd you end up with Bianca Mara?
We didn't there was not a name that jumped out to us the way that there was with our first kid. Like Clarissa just jumped out to us. We both loved it. So it was honestly kind of nerdy. Like we each compiled a list of names we liked and then whittled it down to 20 we agreed on. And then we separately ranked those names from 1 to 20. And Bianca was the one that was highest up for both of us.
All right. Spreadsheets name their children. Can't wait for them to find that out. It's going to be fun. Honey, your name comes from an Excel algorithm.
I'm gonna give an anecdote about my wife's name.
Sure.
Her name is Rachel. Her parents' favorite band growing up was REM. Oh, when they were growing up, her parents started dating in high school. They got engaged at an REM concert. My wife's initials were REM, and when prompted about
amazing.
When prompted, her mother said no, and she's a happy accident. But her dad wasn't so convincing. Of course, they did make a mistake, and they named their daughter that, and not one of their sons, because now it is no longer REM.
So when
way to ruin it.
Yeah, I know I ruined it. It's on me. My bad.
When you got married, was it like, and her name changed? Was it the end of the world as she knew it?
Oh my gosh!
God, I'm so hard.
Oh snap!
Nailed it. Yellow Jacket, your response.
I don't have one. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't care about the EU.
You, sir, will let me do my catchphrase. Your time starts now.
I yield my time.
All right, fair enough.
Does that mean I got 2 minutes to respond?
I did vote for RJ in the current poll. I have no attachment to any EU character anymore, I must say. Like, whatever, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy whatever you want.
RJ, you're clearly winning this one, but you still get a minute. Just talk about whatever you want. Your time starts now.
So I guess if it's going to be debate related, my first reaction when I heard his answer was, who? Just because maybe I just don't read enough of the old extended universe stuff.
A valid answer.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I was this close to convincing my wife to name our daughter that. So it just, like I said, it seemed like a great. She's obviously a great character. It's also a great name. So if anybody out there is planning on having kids and you got a girl, highly recommend it. But
you want to tell chat what your backup answer was going to be?
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, my backup answer was Joris Kaboth, the single U, because it would also get you access to the clone Joris Kaboth. And I don't feel like there is a Jedi currently that embodies the sort of the blatant, what's the word I'm looking for?
Arrogance?
Arrogance. There we go. The arrogance, the elitist nature of being a Jedi, the way that Joris Kaboth embodied it. And I feel like it would be a good character to sort of really drive home, almost like an archetype of what the Sith are fighting against.
All right. Well, RJ, you get that point.
Woo!
Woo!
Good job. You win when the other person's like, yeah, you're right.
It's okay. You know what?
Well, I mean, same thing happened. If my slam dunk is Mara Jade against his slam dunk of Nazis are bad.
I would say this next one I do have very passionate feelings about, and I will make them known. So I'm very excited for this next question.
Well, good, because we're starting with RJ. RJ, what is the best non-movie Star Wars? So book, video game, comic, audiobook, whatever that isn't a movie. What is the best non-movie Star Wars? Your 3 minutes is going to start now.
So, to me, I think of things that are interactive, that allow you to sort of really engage in the story and to also expand the universe so that, you can learn more about it while engaging in it. And to me, the thing that does that best is Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMORPG. I mean, it adds to. Granted, full disclosure, it is not canon anymore because it came out before Disney bought it, but it delves into a lot more of the history of the Sith. You can play either side. I'm assuming you can also create characters and play both sides. And so you can get full-on story development, and you get to learn more about the Star Wars universe, and you can actually interact, and you can meet like-minded people, and you can have more nerdy discussions like these with other people where there's not an actual debate on the line, just, have these kinds of discussions, and you get to play as these super powerful characters, and you get to level them up, and you really get immersed in the world. And I feel like if there was I don't think there is a better way to sort of get put into the world of the Star Wars universe that has been developed yet, right? Like, obviously, you've got books where you can read descriptions, but you don't, and you've got other, TV and other sort of media, but you don't really get to sort of interact in that world in the way in which Star Wars: The Old Republic really lets you interact with the world of Star Wars. And so I feel like that, to me, is the most impressive piece of the Star Wars properties.
All right. Star Wars: The Old Republic. Yellowjacketpym. Andrew, you said you had strong opinions, and your 3 minutes starts now.
I'm glad you bring up interactivity and immersion, because those are the two things that I think are really our strength of what I'm going to bring up here. But a little backstory. In 1984, a hostile takeover almost happened of the Walt Disney Corporation. Some man tried to buy out a bunch of stocks. He was going to separate the pieces of the company with, the films, parks, whatever. He was going to sell them for profit. Company prevents that. They realize they need a new CEO. Hire a young man, a young upstart CEO by the name of Michael Eisner. Now, I'm sure many of you guys have opinions about Michael Eisner. He has an interesting legacy. But one thing he does instantly, he says, these parks, we got to improve them. We've got to update them. Who's the hottest guy in Hollywood right now? His name was George Lucas. I know, it was a weird time in 1984. But the creative forces of George Lucas and the Walt Disney Imagineers came together to deliver us Star Tours. That's right, a ride in which you join our Captain R3X, and ride in a Starspeeder 1000 to go visit Endor. You were on vacation, but all of a sudden, Rex, he's a first-time captain. He makes a few mistakes. He jumps out of hyperspace a little too late. You pass Endor. You pass the Forest Moon. What's going on? You end up in an icicle field, a comet field. You have to navigate your way through there, and all of a sudden, on the other side, you end up in the battle against the Death Star. You have to fight ties. You get caught in a tractor beam. You have X-Wings calling to you, being like, hey, watch out, you got a tie on your tail. And all of a sudden, you do the trench run with them. I mean, this thing was incredible. I mean, talk about immersion. You were right there in the front row. You're sitting in the vehicle as you fly through the trench run. I mean, how can you not love that? I mean, truly, it's one of the most immersive experiences you can do in Star Wars. Later on, you get more rides like that, like Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, in which you get to pilot the Falcon. But I gotta give it to the originator, Captain Rex. You gotta give it to him. I mean, he flies you right to that trench run. He almost hits a gas tank and explodes at the end, but it's fine. It was his first flight, and he's sure it's yours too. At the end of the day, Star Tours is one of the pinnacles of Star Wars, and honestly, the best piece of Star Wars media in general is Star Tours. I know, hot take here, but I mean, what are you gonna do? You get to ride the movie. You get to be part of the experience. You get to fly with X-Wings against TIE fighters, and you get to blow up a Death Star. I mean, what more do you want?
All right. Star Tours versus
Good take.
Stay on target. We're too close. Stay on target.
Let's start the poll. RJ, your 1 minute rebuttal against Star Tours. Your time starts now.
All right, so couple problems with this. First off, you're immersed in it, but you don't have any real control over it, right? Like, it's basically just like a movie with a shaking seat, right? Like, you're not actually interacting with the world, right? Whereas in Old Republic, right, you have a character that you're leveling up and developing and interacting with the world. Second of all, in order to access Star Tours, you have to go to Disneyland, which means you have to go to a super crowded place packed with tourists, wait in line for God knows how many hours to finally get on this ride, right? Whereas I can, at the convenience of an internet connection, assuming you get decent uploads, actually play this game and...
Dare you? How dare you?
Sorry, low blow. And actually interact from the convenience of your home. So... to me, it's a no-brainer. Old Republic.
Time, bastard.
Does he lose a point for ragging on Spectrum there?
He didn't bag on Spectrum. He bagged on me.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair.
He praised Spectrum. He's like, if you don't have Spectrum, you don't get to play. All right, Yellowjacketpym, your 1 minute response to Star Wars: The Old Republic. Your time starts now.
I mean, if you just want to play World of Warcraft, you can just play World of Warcraft, you know? You don't gotta play the Old Republic. I mean, the MMO is great. It's fun. Everyone has a great time. But it's the Old Republic. That's the whole thing. I mean, it's way beyond, you know, way back when. It's so long ago. At this point, we gotta talk about, you know, the real Star Wars we love, that original trilogy vibe. You've got, again, you know, in this ride, you've got R2-D2. You see C-3PO in the queue. You've got some notable faces, and even later on, when they would refresh the ride, C-3PO became your pilot, and you get cameos from Admiral Akbar and Yoda and Lando and Leia, all your favorite characters. I mean, you know, what's not to like? You get to sit down, you get a break from either the hot California or the hot Florida sun, and you get to take a ride past some of your favorite Star Wars locations. I mean, and you got to deal with crowds, that's true, but it's okay. We got Fast Pass. As Sub Hedgehog mentions in the comments, we got Fast Pass, and honestly, at this point, people are kind of tired of Star Tours, so those lines aren't that long anymore.
All right. Well, listen, RJ, I thought you did a good job. Personally, I thought you did a good job. But the chat thinks you sucked, because that was a 7-1 victory. Oh, 7-2 now. 7-2 for Pym.
I'm getting some last-minute votes.
Yeah, 7-3. Okay, you make it. No, time runs out. I guess I gotta give it to Pym. I never in a million years, even when I was like, what joke answers will they think of? Was I like, oh yeah, he's gonna go with Star Tours?
I mean, this legitimately isn't a joke answer. This picture I have is, I've got this, like, next to me, I've got a bunch of attraction posters. And I've got this guy on my desk. I realized I could have just held that up too. So, like, I legitimately love this ride. It has almost as much to do with my love of Star Wars as anything else does. As, like, a kid in Central Florida and growing up and, like, going to these parks and being like, I like Star Tours. This is a fun ride. It has almost as much to do about, like, with Star Tours as the movies at that point.
That's interesting. But I will say, when the Old Republic MMO came out, I was super hyped. I played it for about a year. And also, in the lead up, they did these fantastic, like, history journal things with them. Mm-hmm. And they were so interesting and so well done. If you guys haven't checked it out, please go ahead and go look for the histories on Star Wars: The Old Republic. They're called, like, journals. They're super, super entertaining. So we've got a 2-2 game. How about that? We're moving on to our next question. This question is, who is the most underrated character in Star Wars? I think we come back to Pym on this one, right? Yeah, you get the odds. So Pym, you get the first answer here, and your time starts now.
Underrated in Star Wars is a really hard thing to achieve, because a lot of Star Wars characters have so much, you know, everyone jokes about Wikipedia backstories being, you know, pages and pages and pages of information. I mean, to be underrated, you basically have to be not even a minor character in the background. You have to be like a super tertiary character. However, there is one person who has a lot of screen time in one film that doesn't get the same credit that he deserves, at least not from most communities. I know our community here in Nickel City is a bit different. This community is a little more up on this pilot, but in general, people don't really think of him. And that person is Jack Porkins. Now, you might be thinking, Jack Porkins, isn't that the fat guy they just made fun of in A New Hope? And you may be thinking, yes, that is. However, what you don't know is, you know, he's out there, he's fighting the Death Star turrets, he's taking out lasers, he's clearing the way for those trench runs, he's allowing the bombers to get in there, he's allowing Luke to make that run, and sure, he couldn't hold it, unfortunately, you know, his X-Wing was just a little too damaged, but he did his best, he's a hero of the rebellion, he died to protect the rebellion, and to give the entire galaxy a chance at freedom. I mean, Jack Porkins, how can you not go for that guy? I mean, he did his best. Even George Lucas disrespected him by giving him the name Porkins because he was the fat guy. I mean, come on. But Jack is the real hero of the Death Star attack. You got to convince me otherwise.
All right, Porkins. That's a tough one in this community, RJ. I will say his parents were terrible people. Just being like, hey, your last name is Porkins. Oh, maybe we need to get you on a diet here. But RJ, your 3 minutes, who is the most underrated character? That time starts now.
All right. So I'm about to get ready for some hate on this one because I'm going to go with Jar Jar Binks. So before I begin, I want to make sure I explain what I mean in the sense of him being underrated. I'm not trying to claim that Jar Jar Binks is a good character. I'm trying to say how low he is typically perceived by Star Wars fans is not nearly where it should be relative to where he should be in terms of the effect that he's had on the movies and on the overall storyline, right? So if you think about everything that Jar Jar contributed to the overall storyline, right? Like he runs into the Jedi, he runs into Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and he takes them to the underwater city, helps them get through the planet core to get to Naboo. He becomes a hero of the Battle of Naboo through sheer dumb luck, or a much more interesting way to look at it is this weird like Sith Lord drunken boxing strategy where he's just flopping all over the place and everything magically works out for him. So possible Sith Lord, maybe. Becomes a hero of the Battle of Naboo. Ends up working for Senator Amidala, gets promoted to be a senator from Naboo, and starts the voting that creates the emergency powers necessary for Palpatine to rise to power, consolidate power, and eventually ascend the throne of the Empire as Emperor Palpatine. I understand he's super goofy looking. He looks like the unholy offspring of Dopey and a platypus, right? He talks funny. He constantly messes things up, but it always seems to mess things up in a way that benefits the people around him. So I think Jar Jar gets crapped on way too much. He's a better character than is he a great character? No, but he's definitely not the trash that a lot of people talk him out to be.
All right. There it is. Let me get the most underrated character is Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't really want to say the name.
I don't think Obi-Wan is underrated.
Yeah, I think Obi-Wan is pretty rated.
Yeah, he's pretty high up there. Yeah.
All right. Get that poll up. Andrew, your response. Your time starts now.
Misa think you so crazy. I mean, Jar Jar Binks, that was not what I was expecting. I mean, the guy who, people point to as one of the failings of the Phantom Menace. I mean, it's a interesting take. I mean, he certainly has a lot to do in the story, but I would argue what he has to do isn't very positive beyond episode 1. When he becomes a senator and then declares the emergency powers and all that nonsense, and gives Palpatine extra powers. I don't know if we should be applauding him for that one. He does kind of go down. That creates a real bad problem for future generations. But I mean, Jar Jar Binks, sure, he's probably overhated, but he doesn't really need more love than he gets because he's really just a background character. He doesn't do anything that important. The Battle of Naboo was going to win anyways because Anakin blew up the control unit. He didn't he didn't do something really magical like take a Death Star for the team.
Time. All right, RJ, your response to Jack Porkins being the most underrated character in Star Wars. Your time starts now.
How do I debate this? The dude was on screen for less than 10 seconds, and it was to say that I can hold it. Like, was he trying to keep his plane afloat, or did he have to use the bathroom? Like, I just don't understand why we're giving this much credit to this dude for doing nothing. He was on screen to get blowed up. Like, that's it. Like, he contributed nothing to the overall storyline. Like, sure, he's a hero because he was in the battle, but there were so many other pilots who got blown out of the sky that contributed. Like, I could see you saying like Biggs or Wedge, but Porkins, yeah, no. And again, even if I concede that there's a bit of a gap there, there's no way that the gap between what Porkins gets versus what he deserves is as big as the gap between what Jar Jar gets versus what he deserves in terms of level of appreciation.
Time. All right. There it is. That was pretty funny. Yes, man. So we're just going to let a little time.
Here's did not expect Jar Jar.
Yeah. Here's what I will say in defense of Jar Jar. I don't care what you think about the character. The things Star Wars fans and a burgeoning internet put Ahmed Best through.
Oh, yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, that's awful.
Secondly, if you like Smeagol, if you like any of the new Planet of the Apes movies, if you like Thanos, if you're into Marvel, like the whole world is into Marvel, then tip your cap to Ahmed Best and Jar Jar Binks, as they were the first to do that. They pioneered that technology to make that happen. So I would say, and if you want hot take debate, I'll say that Ahmed Best has done more for cinema than Tom Hanks. Putting that on record.
Wow. I don't know if I'd say that, but that's...
What has Tom Hanks done for cinema? Has he innovated anything? No.
Did Ahmed Best, did he CGI himself? I don't think so.
He's the one who brought it to life. It doesn't work without him.
Yes, that's true.
All right, like Tom Hanks, great actor, one of my favorite actors, really good actor. Ahmed Best pioneered a whole new way of doing movies, which has made a whole subgenre available.
That's the one thing George Lucas always was good at, is taking just pushing technology and being like, what can we do with this? Despite his other failings as a director, his use of technology has always been fantastic.
Yeah, he's a great innovator, just fantastic innovator. All right, I think chat voted for Jack. I really want to give it to Jar Jar, but I think I gotta side with chat once this stream at least. So we'll give it to Andrew.
You already sided with him last one.
You sided with the Nazi one. I mean, that's fair.
Well, yeah, listen. I decided that's self-preservation, baby. That's. Oh my god, my OBS is being all weird. There we go. Let me adjust the score, please. There we go. There it is. All right. Oh, what's the next one? So many bangers of questions. 3-2 Pym right now. And Pym told me if he wins, he's going to give 99% off in his episode. Got weird.
I didn't say that at all.
Okay, well. Listen, I fully acknowledge this next question is absolute horse manure. I get it. But it's always bothered me. And I want the answer. So let me update it now. All right. Is this an odd or an even? No. So we're starting with RJ. This question. In episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan Kenobi says only a Sith deals in absolutes. Now, the word only makes that question, or makes that statement, an absolute statement. Therefore, is Obi-Wan Kenobi a Sith Lord? RJ, your 3 minutes starts now.
No. Like, first off, you're making the claim that he's a Sith Lord based off of one line instead of an entire body of work. Okay? Second of all, even if we were to imagine a world in which Obi-Wan Kenobi is a Sith Lord behind the scenes, really controlling everything, right? Like, I could see an argument for why he would hunt down Grievous, even though as a Sith, he is in control of Grievous or whatever he's doing, or whatever missions he's going on, because, you know, he got the orders from the Jedi and there's people on the planet that he was attacking. And so to make a good PR stunt of it, he had to make a good faith effort to actually try and get him, and he actually ends up killing him. But when he gets to Mustafar, there's no one else there. Like, Luke has basically killed everyone. And then Obi-Wan gets in this fight with Anakin. Anakin at this point had already converted to the dark side, or had already converted to the dark side. So why would Obi-Wan put on this show of, oh, I've got to uphold the Jedi code and have this fight and take out both your legs and one of your arms? You know, like, who is that show for? If he was a Sith Lord, he'd have been like, hey, dude, BT dubs, I've been using the Emperor as a go-between between you and me. We're actually homies. Let's hug this out, okay? But that doesn't happen. Not to mention, decades later in Episode 4, when Obi-Wan and Darth Vader are fighting, and then Obi-Wan spends the whole time as a Force ghost in Episodes 5 and 6, trying to help Luke take Vader down. Like, why is he bothering to do all of that if he's a Sith Lord? He should have spent his time helping out Anakin, Darth Vader, in trying to take over the world or overthrow Palpatine if he just didn't like Palpatine. But the one line and any sort of anecdotal evidence around it is just, it's not nearly enough to justify saying that Obi-Wan is a Sith Lord. There is more evidence, and there's a better argument for Jar Jar being a Sith Lord than there is for Obi-Wan.
All right, RJ coming in with the super hot position of no, which leaves Yellowjacketpym in the unenviable task of I think this is a fun answer. Yellowjacketpym, is Obi-Wan a Sith Lord? Your 3 minutes starts now.
I'm gonna have to speak fast because we got to go over a lot of evidence here. It's really easy to say Obi-Wan just got himself in a little bit of a Justin Bieber situation, you know, never say never, that kind of thing. But I think that Obi-Wan Kenobi may have been a rival Sith to Palpatine. Now let's think about the evidence here. One, he has a propensity for cutting people in half and not going for easy kills, you know? He cuts Maul in half. He doesn't go for the heart. He doesn't go for the brain, the head, something to do it. No, he wants them to suffer. When he disarms, quite literally, Anakin, does he kill him? No, he lets him burn to death, or seemingly burn to death on Mustafar. I mean, that's sadistic. I mean, why would you do that? He's your brother. I mean, come on. You know, he has flirtations, as we see in Clone Wars. He has, you know, petty, he keeps things in his mind. He has petty rivalries. He obviously holds a grudge against Maul. I think that Obi-Wan is a secret Sith, and he is just does not like Palpatine. That's why he's grooming Luke. He turns Luke, this innocent farm boy, into a radical terrorist. I mean, come on. You know, and of course he lets Vader kill him because he knows that he's old at that point. He's almost dead. He's like, I'm going to let Vader kill me so I can haunt him. And he knows that he killed me and he's the one who has to do it. And then I can still help out Luke by being a little stronger with being one with the Force and whatnot. He also taunts Vader by just calling him Darth, which, like, you know, he doesn't even call Anakin by his name. He's just like, Darth, like, strike me down. I mean, come on. What is that? He's easily, like, he likes to flop around the desert and pretend to be a crate dragon to scare these poor Tusken Raiders? Come on. This crazy old man is easily a Sith, or at least a sadist.
All right. Start the poll. That was great. Oh, fantastic answer.
I was put in an unenviable position. I had to defend it the best I could.
Hey man, I'm
And
with
a
you.
fabulous job you did.
He survives the Jedi Purge. Coincidence? He trains at the rule of 2, right? He trains Anakin,
Yeah.
and then Anakin, his apprentice, kills him,
Should
fulfilling
I
the
be
rule of
objecting
2.
to the judge making arguments for my opponent?
Nah, dude, you should have known from the beginning that this was literally just a forum for me to get my views out. RJ, your 1 minute rebuttal to yes starts now.
I mean, I don't know what I can say, given that Greg seems to be making the arguments against me before I can make them. But okay, so first off, if anything, Obi-Wan killing Darth Maul. All of this says that Obi-Wan at best may be a dark side user, but not a Sith, right? The Sith are the very specific group of dark side users that are, Palpatine to Darth Maul, and then including Grievous and Dooku. So I can see an argument for him being a dark side user, but not a Sith. Not to mention, I don't know why Obi-Wan tells Anakin that he wins because he has the high ground when he has evidence in killing Darth Maul that you don't need the high ground to kill somebody, right? He was obviously below Darth Maul, and yet he still manages to kill him, right? So
He was
I
taunting
just always
Anakin.
found that weird.
He was taunting him.
Time.
Right.
Andrew, your 1 minute response that he's not a Sith Lord. Your time starts now.
Have you guys seen the edit of the scene from Rise of Skywalker where Rey, spoiler alert, I guess, kills Palpatine, but instead of the score behind it, they put Rage Against the Machines killing in the name of? I don't know why I thought about that then. I just did. It's a really good edit.
It has
It's
nothing
very,
to do with this, but okay.
Yeah, 100%. I just don't have any response, is what that is. Because RJ is clearly right. However, the notion that Obi-Wan could be a secret Sith is now implanted in your mind, and you're going to have to think about it for a while. I mean, why else would he say it's over, I have the high ground? Because he's taunting him, because he wants to chop off his arms and legs and let him burn to death, because he's an evil person. I mean, come on, who would do that? What kind of asshole does that? Come on.
It's true. Listen, my argument was mostly predicated upon that one sentence, but now that I'm thinking about it, Obi-Wan clearly banged the Duchess, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Jedi aren't supposed to do that.
Well, no, hold on now. They're not supposed to form attachments.
Yeah, well, you watch that episode and tell me he's not attached.
That is true.
Just got to get your rocks off, man.
That is true. He is attached, but that is different. I also agree with Cold Hard that Obi-Wan keeps cutting off arms in A New Hope, so he has a predilection for that, so...
Yes. Well, listen, he's clearly not a Sith. We got to give it to RJ, but I feel like the argument can be made. Like,
yeah, going second there was pretty much the automatic lose, but I'm like, well, let's make it fun.
No, but that's the fun answer. Like, no is the easy answer.
No is
yes
the
is a
correct
fun
answer.
one.
Hey, chat still voted for me, so I'm still the people's champ. That's what matters.
Yeah, I mean, what does chat know, though? Am I right? Am I right, everybody? Chat? Oh, I don't want to make that plural. All right. Next question coming up as soon as I hit export, PNG, background, get that ding that I'm sure you can hear. All right. And since this is an odd question, we'll be starting with Yellowjacketpym. Who is the most powerful Force user in Star Wars? You're free to go canon. You're free to go EU. I just want to know who the most powerful Force user is. And that time starts now.
What is the Force? Let's think about this. No one knows. And by that I mean it changes over the years. But loosely defined, it is the force that binds us together, the interspace between all of us, the thing that binds every being in the galaxy as part of one whole. With that said, there is no strongest force user, because whoever the strongest force user is whoever is harnessing that power at the time. It's not about having a high M count or some silliness that George Lucas was interjecting in the prequels. It's about do or do not. There is no try, as Yoda says. It's about whoever knows that the Force is a limitless resource to tap into. You don't need to have a high level of some kind of silly organism or the wills, as Lucas was going into. Who knows? All that matters is that you are connected, you are spiritually grounded, and you believe that you can do it. That's why someone like, you know, a youngling Anakin Skywalker is able to blow up the Lucre Hulk in A Phantom Menace, or how Rey is able to mind control that stormtrooper without having lessons on it. It's how Luke is able to blow up the Death Star. It's not because they have these, you know, they're not trained for this. They're able to harness that power within them. They realize there's something more there. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter having some high count or some connection. All it is you knowing that you can do it. And if you believe in yourself, guys, Captain Planet said we can do it. That's what matters.
I don't think that was what kept. Maybe, I don't know. I think he was more of a.
When's the last time you watched Captain Planet? Huh?
It's been a minute. I'll give you that. Been a bit.
He believes in you, Captain Planet.
I'm just saying, if you want to talk about someone who failed, Captain Planet.
Or the dude with the heart ring. Like, what did he ever do?
I mean, he got the short shrift for sure. Heart ring guy was just like, I don't know, man. I can make red.
You need me for Captain Planet, and that's literally it.
Yeah, so if I say no, you guys are screwed. But you better keep me around for that.
All right, so Andrew taking the interesting approach of trying to answer the question by not answering the question.
Correct.
That is a unique way to do this. Also, guys, if you haven't followed, next week is Captain Planet Debate Club, clearly. RJ, who is the most powerful Force user? Your 3 minutes starts now.
Well, contrary to Pym's previous claims, I do think that there is it can't just be whoever is using the Force in that moment, because in a given moment, multiple people could be using the Force, and then it's a question of who is using it strongest or most effectively, or however you want to gauge what it means to be using the Force or be the strongest in the Force. And to me, based on the evidence that's been seen in the movies, the strongest Force user is Rey, right? She had no formal training in the ways of the Force, in the ways of the Jedi, and in the same scope of the storyline in that first movie, she holds her own against a Sith Lord, right? Against Kylo Ren. And the next movie, Episode 8, it literally picks up where that left off, which honestly is my biggest complaint about Episode 8, is that it's the only episode that happens immediately after the previous one, and having some sort of couple-year time gap built in there would be an easy explanation for why Rey is so powerful. But because that's not there, Rey then, within like however long she was on that planet with Luke, develops this ridiculously high level of power to then go and battle with Snoke and resist Snoke, and then help Kylo Ren take out all of the other red dudes that are supposed to be protecting Snoke. It just, her ability to ratchet up the use of the Force in a short amount of time with no training is second to none. Point on the midichlorians, the best explanation I've heard about them is that they are sort of parasites that cling to people that use the Force. They don't actually channel the Force. So strong Force users tend to have more midichlorians because strong Force users have more midichlorians because there's more Force for them to like attach to. So they aren't actually they aren't the Force. They are parasites that are
like a bigger shark has more Amora. Yeah.
Right.
Mora?
Remora.
Yeah, that's it.
Those fish things, right?
Yeah. Tiny fish.
All right, let's get this poll up.
Sorry, to Sub Hedgehog. Yes, Rogue One. When I'm talking about the movies, I'm talking about like the main movies, like the numbered ones. Yeah, like, I'm not talking about the ones that they can insert at whatever point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even the Rogue One leads up directly to A New Hope. It wasn't like that was how it was filmed. It wasn't like they were like, yeah, here comes this one, then immediately after is this one. It's like, no, it just was game later. But
all right, Yellowjacketpym, your response to Rey. Your minute starts.
I do want to point out.
You let me say the catchphrase, sir.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Your minute starts now.
I do want to point out, she doesn't resist Snoke. She gets, like, thrown around by Snoke, and he figures out where Luke is hiding. Like, he gets that information from her in the movie. It wasn't like she was able to stop that. I mean, it was Kylo Ren was able to trick Snoke because he was too focused on Rey. However, again, Rey's able to access this because she believes in herself. Like, oh, that's what Luke teaches her on that island. It's not a tool for you to access. It's not a power they have. It's something that binds everyone together. You need to believe in that. You need to understand that in order to actually harness it. So, I can't argue too much with Rey because she is very powerful, but at the same time, she's powerful because she doesn't have those limits placed on her by other people. She doesn't think that there's limits to her power. She doesn't think there's limits to her potential. So that's why she's able to access these things and do more than others Jedi. She wasn't trained with these limits.
All right.
That's all I got.
Well, that's all the time you have anyway. RJ, your 1 minute response to not answering the question. Your time starts now.
Right. So what I'm hearing him say is that of the evidence that's been shown that Rey is the most powerful Jedi, and it may be because of her lack of discipline, her lack of being told what is possible, what isn't possible, and I'm fine with that. But it is definitive evidence that she is the most powerful Force user. Because, again, they could be multiple people using the Force at the same time. Who is using it the strongest and the most efficiently and the most effectively? And all the evidence that I've seen points to Rey being strong. I mean, Yoda's up there just because he's been doing it for 800 years. But, who knows how long it took him to train to get to that point. And since he's old, how much of the Force is he using just to be able to make his body work instead of, using it to fight? Rey's young. She's still got her physicality. And she has all of that extra ability to focus on using the Force. Is no-brainer.
All right. That's time. Poll is still open for another few seconds. It's
Poll is tied right now. I'm ahead. I just pulled ahead. You know what? I'm fine. If I don't get the point on this, I'm fine. I got people to believe in me.
That's good, because you're not getting the point in this. You didn't answer the question. You were like, it's anybody. Come on.
Oh, I squeaked out a win.
Hey,
RJ did get the win.
Close. It was close.
New People's Champion? All right, this next question should be fun. I don't know. Hopefully no one brings up.
I will say from earlier information, the quote unquote obvious answer to this one isn't going to be so. I don't think RJ is going with that one from what he said earlier about a Mr. Fett.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I haven't bet these answers ahead of time because I like to be surprised along with everybody else. So this is an even numbered one. That means we're starting with RJ. RJ. There are a lot of bounty hunters in the Star Wars universe, but who's the best bounty hunter? Your time starts now.
So, for my money, if I had a job that I needed to get done and I was like, I don't care what you need to do. If I need to look the other way, I don't care what evilness you need to do in order to get it done. Your job is to just get the job done. No scruples, no questions asked. Just name a price in order to get this done. I'm calling Cad Bane. Like, that is my man. That is the dude I am calling to make sure that the job gets done and gets done right. He's got... the dude thinks like 17 steps ahead. He's got the neck breathing thing so that he can avoid, like, if he's being force choked, he can still breathe. He's able to hold his own against Jedi. He's stepped toe to toe with Anakin Skywalker. He stepped toe to toe with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Quinlan Vos at the same time and walked away with it. How many people that don't have access to the Force can say that they walked away from an encounter with two Jedis at once? This guy broke Zero the Hutt out of a Republic prison. He stole a Kyber memory crystal from the Jedi. He walked into their house and took stuff from them. Like, there is no better, there is no more badass bounty hunter than Cad Bane. The dude's methodical. The dude is ruthless. The dude will, as long as you're willing to pay the money, he will do whatever job you need to be done. He doesn't have a moral compass. He won't later on be like, should I really be doing this? No. Cutthroat, ready to go. My man, Cad Bane.
Cutthroat, 1 point. RJ going with Cad Bane. Andrew, Yellowjacketpym. Home of Pym Miniatures, exclamation point Pym in the chat. Who's the best bounty hunter? Your 3 minutes starts now.
So, Nabi in the chat actually is making a good point that we're going to go address it in a second. However, in 2013, StarWars.com actually did rank Cad Bane as the #1 bounty hunter in Star Wars. The problem with that is that list is now 8 years outdated. There has been a new bounty hunter who's come to the scene who has made it on top of that. And that bounty hunter is none other than IG-11. That's right, this is the IG series droid that we see in episode 1 of The Mandalorian, who then gets murdered, betrayed by Din Djarin, the Mandalorian himself. He betrays IG-11. But let's see what IG-11 does. He comes in, he takes out this whole camp of thugs and Trandoshans. He's ready to go get rid of this this threat he sees. And when he gets blown up, or when he gets shot, does he die? No. He gets revived by our good friend Nick Kroll. I can't remember his character. Not Nick Kroll, but Nick Nolte, sorry. Nick Nolte the Ugnaught, whose name I can't remember. And know what he does after that? He becomes a nursemaid. He becomes the best bodyguard for this young child. And the most important thing that he does, that no other bounty hunter has done in Star Wars, the most important thing, he murders the scout trooper that bonked Gorgu on the head. That guy had to die. He had to do it to him. I mean, come on. Like, you gonna bonk Gorgu? You can get away with that? No. You are out of there. You gotta kill him. And last but not least, I mean, he's voiced by the unfathomable Taika Waititi, who just is a wonderful, wonderful person. And the more we see, sorry, it is Grogu. Yes, I'm sorry. The more we see of him, the better. But IG-11, he has an itchy self-destruct trigger. I'll see that. But he does use that trigger to save Grogu even later on in that same episode. So yeah, I gotta give it to my man IG-11. If I gotta call someone for the job and I know that I want him alive, dead, or whatever, IG-11's gonna bring it to me.
All right, IG-11 versus Cad Bane. What a couple of great arguments there.
I would like to point out that I would absolutely watch if that dude that was voiced by Nick Nolte were voiced by Nick Kroll instead. That would be.
Yeah, I would too. I would too.
This is the
Quill.
way.
His name's Quill. That's his name. Give me a second.
Yeah.
You have to change his phrase to be like, "Is this the way?" I don't care.
Is this the way? Just very like, oh man.
That would be
different
great.
show. So
Yeah.
good.
All right, poll is up. RJ, it's RJ. RJ, your response to IG-11. Your minute starts now.
He got killed by another bounty hunter standing right next to him, right? There's no way that Cad Bane would let himself get capped by somebody standing next to him. Like, he would have precautions in place, right? Like, if IG-11 were really good at his job, he would have gone in under the assumption that this deal that he had made with another bounty hunter could have gone sideways and that he should be ready to protect himself. And he just didn't do that, right? And all of that other stuff about the stuff he did was after he got reprogrammed by Quill. He was no longer a bounty hunter. He was now a nanny droid, right? Like, I mean, if Cad Bane decided to open up, Babysitters Club after retirement, I'm not allowed to include all the stuff that he did after that as part of his bounty hunting repertoire, right? None of that matters to being a good bounty hunter.
Okay, that would be a really solid point if Boba Fett hadn't have killed Cad Bane. But Pym, your response to
Whoops.
Your response.
Sorry, Chad doesn't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You start. Mine's all over the place. You get a minute. Go ahead, talk for a minute.
All right, here we go. I see what you're saying, but at the same time, you know, he was betrayed. What are you gonna do when you get betrayed like that? Point blank. I mean, come on. Also, Cad Bane, the guy with the big old hat. I mean, it's a cool hat, but come on, man. This guy isn't that cool. Compare that to a robot. I mean, think about all the things you don't have to pay for a robot. You don't gotta pay for food. You don't gotta pay for like water. You know, he doesn't have to rest. He can just keep going infinitely. Just pop a new battery in, and you're good to go. You know. That guy he can just go on for eons and eons. He doesn't need to stop. He's going to be the Terminator, tracking you down, and there's nothing you can do as he relentlessly heads your way. Sure, Cad Bane got some big old hut out of the Republic prison, but come on. I mean, you think Palpatine cared about that? He probably helped him out. He probably said, yeah, we would just move our guards, who cares? But IG-11, I mean, he doesn't have any separatists behind him. He just has a droid and a bomb strapped to his chest.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure he just blows himself up. Like, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, but you do get your bounty at all costs there.
It's true. The bounty he's taking care of it.
The poll clearly thinks that Cad Bane is the best bounty hunter, but Greg says question 9's important too, so we're giving this one to Yellowjacketpym. Woo! 4 to 4.
Ties going into the last question.
Yeah, 4 to 4. How? How does this always happen?
This is where the fun
in a
begins.
row. All right. I believe Andrew's response when I showed him this question was, "It's a trap."
It was.
That was. Is.
It's true. Yeah. Well, that was my response.
Sure. Here we go. RJ Andrew. What is the best Star Wars movie? Andrew, you're the odd player, so you get first crack at this. Your 3 minutes to impress a nation. All 20 people in the nation. By the way, X-Wing Blake, thank you so much for the sub, buddy. Appreciate you very much. Your 3 minute starts now.
So we could sit here and talk about which one of these films is the best all day long, when the real answer is one that I guarantee you, almost none of you have seen in the chat. Yes, I am talking about the Star Wars Holiday Special, but not that one. The Lego Star Wars Holiday Special. This came out last year on Disney Plus. I watched it. It's fantastic. Told Cold Hard earlier. We're gonna talk about Max Rebo. He is a character in this one. He shows up to talk about this Life Day party to host and make a band. You know, you've got some fun times ahead. You've got Darth Vader there. You've got the Emperor there. You've got Kylo Ren. You've got Rey. You've got Luke. You've got Obi-Wan. You've got all your favorite characters there. I mean, come on. You've got everyone in Star Wars. You even get a cameo from the Mandalorian, and even includes the best part about Star Wars is Lego Star Wars. Who doesn't love a good Lego set? I mean, come on, guys. If I look to my left, I've got a few on my shelf over there. I mean, we all love Lego Star Wars, so why not talk about the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special? It even includes the voice talents of a Mr. Billy D. Williams. That's right, they got Lando in there. You even get Kelly Marie Tran voicing Rose Tico in that thing as well. I don't know what else you want to say. I mean, what's better than to love all of Star Wars at once for this big love letter to the history of Star Wars, which is the Holiday Special, the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, mind you. It's an excellent time. It's worth a watch. It's very fun. It is not serious. Same as this answer. That's why this is the best Star Wars movie, though, because, like I said, it's got Legos, it's got fun, it's got all your favorite characters there. You even got 3 Obi-Wans telling each other hello there. They're doing the meme. I mean, who doesn't like memes? It's the best.
All right, Yellowjacketpym. I think the best comment I saw so far was, had us in the first half, not gonna lie.
I have never seen the Holiday Special, the original one. Just clips.
You can probably take a pass on it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
RJ, what is the best Star Wars movie? Your 3 minutes starts now.
So, full disclosure, I have not seen the Lego Holiday Special. Definitely got to put that on the docket. But I was thinking that since I was going second, my initial reaction was obviously it's episode 5. You know, it's Irving Kershner, best written, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, but since I'm going second, there's no, like, he's obviously going to pick episode 5. You know, no better Star Wars movie has been made. And then 2 things occurred to me. 1, there's still some Star Wars movies coming out. And 2, I have yet to have an answer that panders to the judge and to the audience. So since it's the last question, I'm doing the audible. I'm throwing the Hail Mary. I'm saying that the best Star Wars movie ever is going to be Rogue Squadron. The movie coming out in 2023, directed by Patty Jenkins, who brought us Wonder Woman. She directed the movie Monster. She's directed episodes of Arrested Development and Entourage. This movie is going to be the best Star Wars movie that's ever been made. And here's the reason why I know that is because as of right now, there are literally 0 details about what this movie is about. We just know based on the symbol that they showed in the clip is that it's I think it's somewhere in the like episode 7 to 9 range, and they're talking about it continuing the story, so it might be after episode 9. But that's what makes it amazing is all of those ideas that you currently have floating around in your head. Man, it would be the best movie ever if it had this thing or that thing from X-Wing or from whatever Rogue Squadron novel. Right now, all of those possibilities are true. All of those universes exist. This multiverse of amazingness is ready to go. It will be, and that makes it already the best Star Wars movie.
All right. So we've got the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, which only came out on Disney Plus, and a movie that hasn't come out yet. What's the best Star Wars movie? Appreciate you guys not taking this too seriously. You get it. All right, let's put up the poll, see what chat thinks here. We are going to give Andrew a minute to rebut on Rogue Squadron by Patty Jenkins. Andrew, your minute starts now.
Obi-Wan 77. I did not ignore the question. I answered with a Star Wars movie that is currently out that you can see right now. If anyone avoided the question, it was my fabulous opponent here, RJ, who said basically just make up whatever you want for Rogue Squadron, and that's the best Star Wars movie. Which, you know, granted, I have definitely fallen asleep doing that. I've done that before. However, it doesn't make it the best Star Wars movie. It just makes it the best potential of Star Wars movie. Just because, you know, just because the train hasn't crashed yet doesn't mean it's the best train ever. We still got to see what makes it from one side of the country to the other. But Lego Star Wars is easily the best. We've got jokes. It's family friendly. It's good for everyone. It's a great time. It's a great episode. It's a great streamed episode, which, what is a movie except a streamed episode? So that's an interesting point there, Obi-Wan. But you know what? Obi-Wan is a Sith. He's dealing in absolutes in the chat.
Time, sir. Time. It's that good day. RJ, your 1 minute response to the Lego Star Wars movie starts now.
First and foremost, I would like to point out the blatant hypocrisy of my opponent claiming that I did not answer the question when his answer to the most powerful Force user in Star Wars was whoever's using the Force at that given moment, right? So if anybody should be giving me some flexibility in terms of thinking outside the box on these questions, it's him, based on I have a very similar style of answer just for a different question. And I will gladly admit I am pandering to my audience. Do I think everybody is going to think that a movie about Rogue Squadron is going to be the best movie ever? No. Do I think a group of avid, rabid, X-Wing playing Star Wars loving people have ideas about what would make a movie about Rogue Squadron the best movie ever? I absolutely do. So whatever you think that is, that's what it's going to be, and it's going to be amazing. Best movie ever.
All right, that is our time, guys. Get your votes in. Your votes get to decide this one because I don't care who actually wins the game as long as it's 5-4 at the end.
Hashtag
Listen,
rigged.
Hashtag rigged. Listen, if this looks like fun to you, I want to have you on this show. It is a pain in the ass to book. So join the Discord, throw up a reaction in the sign up thread. I want you guys here. I want you to do it. Looks like time is running low on the vote. Here it is.
Yeah, I did almost answer 5. I almost answered 5, and I almost answered a different one that I'm not going to say. But
you don't want that heat on you? You don't want that level 8 heat on you? You don't want that level 8 heat on you? None of that.
I'm dealing with a move
heat?
right now. I don't have time for that. That's a lot of time to deal with. That's a lot of heat. So
I would say that movie's 8 out of 10. Is that what you were gonna give it? An 8 out of 10?
10. Where are you getting 10 from?
Because that's what you do things out of. You know what? Whatever. Pym wins
There's
5-4.
9 votes.
Hey, you guys did a good job. 5-4 on the vote. 5-4 on the screen. We've answered a lot of questions here today.
I demand a recount.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5-4.
Now hold on. Are we stopping the count or continuing the count? Which one do you want?
I don't know. Are we appealing? Can you appeal 5-4s?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Depends too. Yeah.
Go ahead, appeal.
All right. Recount.
All right, and am I made an emote for this? Gavel, 5-4 for Pym.
Congratulations. Good.
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes.
I did not deserve it. But well
we started
done.
this. We started this last debate club. But do you guys want to run down and just give your quick answers, like your actual quick answers to these questions?
Yeah. RJ, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Go for it.
All right.
You won.
I guess that's true. I gotta go first.
All right,
Lasting
so-
lesson of the Star Wars movies. Oh man, that's a tough one. Should I just go through all these answers at once?
Yeah, just make it fast, like just real quick.
Yeah. All right. Lasting lesson of the Star Wars movies. I definitely think it's that a hero can come from anywhere. I think that's the lesson. I mean, Anakin. I know the later things get more weird with like bloodlines and all that crap, but like A New Hope, Phantom Menace, and Force Awakens all involve a hero who comes from like a middle of nowhere desert. I mean, coolest character in Star Wars universe. Yeah, I mean, like Han's pretty cool. Han or Lando. Just because Lando's got that Colt 45, so like, hard to argue against Billy D. Extended universe that should come back to canon. I don't care. Best non-movie Star Wars property. I stand by Star Tours. This is the one that I firmly believe in. I love. Most underrated character in Star Wars. I don't even. Who did I say? I don't even remember what I said for this.
I think
one.
you said Jack.
Oh, I said Jack because I was pandering. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I was pandering in this one. I'm gonna say Nine Nub. Nine Nub lives like he fights in the rebellion and the resistance, and after he blows up the second Death Star, his only response is, that's all he's got. So I mean, that's pretty cool. Most powerful Force user in Star Wars, probably Luke. I mean, I don't care. This one, I honestly do believe I don't care on this one either. But best bounty hunter. A lot of these I don't care. That's the problem. Best bounty hunter, probably like Cad Bane is probably right. But you said Cad Bane first, so I was like, ah, crap. No, I said IG first. I'm sorry.
No, I went first on that one.
Oh, that's right. You did go first. Yeah. So you said Cad Bane first, so I was like, well, I got to figure something else out. And best Star Wars movie, I think 5 is probably the best. I enjoy watching 8 the most. It's the one I keep going back to. But whatever floats your boat, as long as you don't say Attack of the Clones, I'm okay with.
Fair enough. RJ.
So for everlasting theme of the Star Wars movies, I mean, as cheesy as it sounds, I mean, it's basically, goodness finds a way, like obviously episode 5 ends on a downer, but the story ends with episode 6 and the good guys win. Same thing, episode 9, goodness finds a way. Coolest character in the Star Wars universe. I mean, again, it depends on your definition of cool. I like Ahsoka. She's kind of a badass. She's got witty repartee with Anakin. I've always been a bit, and the double lightsabers thing I think is real cool. Extended universe, I absolutely do believe Mara Jade. I think that would probably be difficult to pull off, just given what they've done with Luke's storyline. It would be hard to.
They would have to change her like
Right.
her Eve
Yeah,
story
it
would have to
wouldn't
change.
be romantic, but she could
Right.
still be in there somehow.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Her
yeah.
backstory wouldn't have to change much, but her trajectory after would
Sure.
would
Yeah.
have to alter.
No, if we're trying to do as much copy paste as possible, then I think Kaboth would be the easier of them. But if they're willing to finagle the story to get them in, I definitely think Mara Jade. It's just I feel like they've done a lot of some of the parts of her story arc with Asajj Ventress, so I don't know if it would seem redundant. But
I feel like it wouldn't. I mean, Asajj is kind of different at the same time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Again, there are a lot of huge differences, but just the idea, an apprentice that no longer has their master, and they're trying to find their way, and then they end up working for the good guys and stuff like that. Best non-movie Star Wars property is, again, this is personally because I'm a giant board game nerd. I really enjoy Star Wars Outer Rim, the board game. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Very it's not like as confrontational as X-Wing is. Like, you do interact with your opponents a bit, but it's a little more exploratory. But it's probably the game that I enjoy the most. It just seems to streamline a lot of the things that the Serenity, the board game, or Firefly, the board game, I can't remember what it was called, was trying to do. Yeah. Most underrated character, I do actually think it's Jar Jar. I mean, again, I'm not a huge fan, but I don't think he deserves a lot of the crap that he gets. Obi-Wan, obviously not a Sith. I'm with Pym. I don't really care about who the most powerful Force user in the universe is. I mean, I think just given the way that Rey skyrockets, I think there's a good argument. But I mean, I don't know how you compete with 800 years of training with Yoda.
Yeah.
The best bounty hunter, I like Din Djarin. I like Mando. He's not honestly a great bounty hunter because he has scruples. He has a moral compass.
I mean, we see him get like 2 bounties before he's like, oh well, no, I'm a dad, I guess. So,
right. Yeah. But he's obviously got a great story arc. But yeah, I would agree with Cad Bane. And then best Star Wars movie. I mean, I don't know how you argue against Episode 5. It is pretty good. Although the more I watch it, the more like Rogue One keeps creeping up that list. Like for me, it was 5-4, then Rogue One. Rogue One might be passing Episode 4. I just feel like Episode 4 gets put up so high because it started everything. But Rogue One is just such a good movie.
Rogue One's just interesting to me because I feel like it starts out with like a 3 out of 10. The middle act is like a 6 out of 10, and the last act is like a 10 out of 10. Like it ramps up in like quality really high towards the end, which is it's so weird to watch for me because like the first act I just don't care about anything. The second act I start to care, and by the third act I'm like, okay, now I'm really into it. It's just that first act for me is so weak that I always kind of like go between like, is this a good movie? Is it a bad movie? I can't tell. It's that first act that just throws me off.
I think I love Rogue One. I think it's very good. It doesn't beat out Empire or Return of the Jedi for me. I think I'd put it on par with A New Hope. Return of the Jedi is, while I acknowledge it's not like the best movie, it just holds like such a like space of reverence for me because it's like my go-to of the originals. It had everything: the huge space battles, the ground battles, the lightsaber fights.
Can we get rid of the blinking Ewoks though? Can we just take those back out again?
Listen, man, I get it. I was in a band and I listened to some of those songs every now and again. And I'm like, man, I should have done this. I should have done that.
Yeah.
Should have not been in a band. So I get it. If I had the money and time to go back and erase things, I get it. But like, I got you.
Honestly, that's the one thing where I'm like, I wish George Lucas would have re-special edition the special editions. Because like if we're gonna leave it in there, just make it look a little nicer. Like take some of these effects, just spruce them up a little bit. But
I just wish that they would put the original versions out there.
Yeah.
Like, you can have the special edition and re-release it in theaters till your heart comes home. But like, leave the originals out there.
So that's the thing. They do. They have it on DVD where they will sell, or at least I'm sure they've probably done it. Where if you buy the DVDs, they'll give you the special edition and the original theatrical release with none of the Dolby cleanup or THX cleanup. So the only way, as far as I know, the only way to get a digital copy of a physical digital copy of the special or the
non-specials,
the non-special but digitally cleaned up.
It's the Laserdisc,
right over there.
Yeah, it's Laserdisc. Yep.
Yep. And I do have a functioning Laserdisc player.
That's why those are worth a lot, because A, it's a Laserdisc, so I mean, how many people threw those out? And B, it's the only non-special edition digital versions.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you both for joining me. Thanks for doing this. I know it takes a lot to come up and speak in front of people, and I know it's not everyone's favorite thing to do, so I appreciate you taking the time to do it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for watching. We're going to come back tomorrow with 3 games of X-Wing, maybe, probably. We're going to try anyway.